Yes, hello everyone. Hello. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming for this Integral European Conference, which is the fourth big live conference that we have created in the last 7 years, and the 9th conference with the online conference and the hybrid together. My name is Bence Ganti, and I'm going to co-facilitate this event with my beautiful colleagues, Christiane and Hanna. And let me introduce first Christiane. Christiane is a seasoned entrepreneur, a spaceholder for emergence, a global pioneer on the field of organization and purpose-guided work. She's also a speaker and author and a writer. The unification of love and power is her subject, and she is deeply engaged in co-creating and developing the power shift ecosystem, which lately includes the question how psychedelics can support what we are focusing on the conference, planetary awakening. And with this, also greeting our online guests in the streaming and on Facebook Live, I hand it over to you, Christiane.
Thank you, Bence. What a privilege to be here with you, to be here in person. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm really deeply grateful, and had the privilege to be here since Sunday and hug many people, touch them, and see them in 3D. And I warn you, I love hugging, so beware. Welcome. And let me introduce Hanna to you. So Hanna has studied and practiced Tibetan Buddhism for 41 years and has been in the integral movement for 28 years. She has been on the core team of the Integral European Conference since the very beginning in 2014. And this year, she once more has been absolutely key to creating and coordinating our whole program and liaising with all speakers. There are no words to express what your engagement, Hanna, means to the Integral European Conference. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's actually happening. I'm overwhelmed to be standing here with all of you, actually meeting you in person. I've also done a lot of hugging already, and I already see many more people that I still need to hug. Yeah, and I'm honored, I'm really happy that so many of you have made their way here. Thank you. Yeah, Planetary Awakening 2.0. When Bence and I were first brainstorming for the topic, what's the topic of next year's conference, I suggested planetary awareness, which is kind of related to awakening, but it has a slightly different emphasis on the more than human world. And I'm convinced that this is the next step needed for humanity to survive and thrive on this planet. To awaken and become aware, not only as separate individuals, not even as one humanity, though that would help a lot, but as expressions of the planet. To find global planetary solutions together, as one, with each other and with nature. So I would like to run you through the structure of the conference and explain the somewhat unusual format, which is really my baby. So let me tell you the story of its conception and birth. Almost 10 years ago, in the autumn of 2013, when Bence, Dennis Wittrak, and I were preparing the first IEC, we unexpectedly received more than 200 applications to present from presenters we had never heard of, and most of which sounded really exciting. We didn't know we had such a wealth of integral thinkers and practitioners in Europe. So instead of rejecting 80% of them, would have broken my heart, and I couldn't have chosen amongst them. So we decided to give them just 20 minutes each to present their topic in a concise format, like a TED Talk. And then we also discovered that they could be clustered into themes like politics, health, spirituality, and so on. And also we decided to give more emphasis on activating the audience, that's you guys, and to form a resonance body. So in every session, we create opportunities for you to share what really moved you in what you just heard, and which questions and new impulses you take away. So from tomorrow, each day will have the same structure. At 7 in the morning, there are a few options for a morning practice. And then after breakfast at 9 o'clock, we all meet in this room for 2 hours of keynote talks. And during this time, some of you might remember it, there are the elevator pitches, which means that after the first keynote, all speakers and workshop leaders of that day will be called forward in groups, and each of them takes the mic for 30 seconds. And this way, everybody can get a sense of their topic and the way they present it, as well as a general sense of what will be offered in each of those rooms in a particular thematic category. So for the presenters concerned, many of you, please don't all get up at the same time when it begins. We had that the first time. There was a long queue and a third of the room was empty. So we learn. You will be called forward in groups to the side of the stage and then be called on stage when it's your turn. Yeah, so, and we will practice this in a minute on a small scale with the offerings for this evening and also for the early tomorrow morning. So we have a little practice run. So, and then from tomorrow, after the coffee break at 11:30, we ask you to please choose one thematic section room and stay there for the whole session. It's not going to work to try and change rooms after the first or second talk, because we're going to activate the crowd intelligence during the second half of each session to really get those juicy questions that drive evolution. So for that, you all need to have heard the same talks. So each room will have a facilitator who will guide you through the whole process. This year, we have a wonderful team of 24 well-briefed and capable facilitators, some of whom you might remember from the online conferences. And they're really enthusiastic about facilitating the dialogue. So how it actually works is that after the 2 or 3 20-minute presentations, the facilitators will reorganize the room to form small circles of chairs with about 5 people and guide you into dialogue. Now, when you hear this, you might feel uncomfortable. I don't want to be told when to talk and how to talk. I'd rather just sit back and listen. And it's good to feel this discomfort. We have to step out of our comfort zone to find new solutions for old problems. So yeah, let's have the courage to do just that. So for those of us like myself who've developed the strategy to talk a lot, to always know best, it is important to hold our tongue. Not only the outer tongue, but also hold our inner tongue and really listen. Not just put it on a kind face, but internally already rehearse what I'm going to say next. And for the introverts amongst us, who have the strategy to always agree and be quiet, it is important for you to speak up. It is those silent ones, the invisible people, that hold the greatest treasures. I experienced dialogue for the first time at an integral meeting in Germany in 2010, and saw how in a relatively short space of time, a large group of strangers, we were about 150, 200 people, can have a conversation in which everyone is heard and the results are shared with everyone. It's amazing. So ever since that time, I've been really enthusiastic about dialogue. There are many different formats like World Café, Bohm's Dialogue, and so on, with new variations emerging constantly. What they all have in common is that you learn to speak from your own thoughts and feelings in the present moment. And you also learn to listen wholeheartedly. And I feel very strongly about this. In order to tackle the wicked problems of this planet in an awakened manner, we need to grow up into mature beings that can take different perspectives. And it's not enough to study integral theory, to have a conceptual understanding, to practice meditation and do some shadow work, although all of these factors are essential to build an integral life practice. So maybe to the phrase, wake up, grow up, clean up, and show up, we need to add team up. In dialogue, we learn to listen to the other person, really try to feel what they want to express. At the same time, we listen to our own body, heart, and mind. We learn to notice when there is resonance, when there is resistance, when we are triggered, and when a new thought emerges. All of this is wonderful fuel for growth. We let go of the old habits of clinging to our opinion, to old stories we keep telling ourselves. We let go of wanting to be right, to win an argument. Instead, we are more interested in what we don't know yet. Please feel into that. When confronted with a new question, before trying to answer it, first admit to yourself that, I don't know. Allow that to sink in. Not knowing opens a wide space, full of possibilities and opportunities for emergence. And the new thoughts and ideas that emerge in this space can then birth new solutions for the increasingly complex problems this planet is facing. Albert Einstein has often been quoted that a problem cannot be solved from the level of consciousness that created it. By sharing different perspectives and opening our mind to ideas that we have not been able to think of before, we allow our mind to become flexible and alive, able to birth new strategies and new stories. My favorite Ken Wilber quote is, "Nobody is smart enough to be wrong all the time." Or put differently, the question is not who is right, but how do all these different views fit together? Also, what is the positive intent of my seeming opponent? And let's be honest, there's so much competitiveness within the integral scene, proclaiming that my theory or method is the most leading edge, putting trademarks on words that should be communal and free, former friends and allies only talking to each other through their lawyers. Let's acknowledge and accept that. We are human. We can be sure to be partly right and partly wrong. And instead of trying to prove the part that I am right about, let's get curious in which ways we have been wrong so far. Learn to admit to having been wrong, without shame or blame. My late Tibetan teacher, Akong Rinpoche, dedicated his first book to the growth of humility. This has been my guiding star for the past 41 years. To learn to be humble, to be quiet, to really listen with an open heart and compassion, especially when the person speaking makes me feel uncomfortable. When I feel they are wrong and that I have the right answers. As long as we think in such absolute terms of right and wrong, we don't see the whole picture. The truth is found in the paradox. It is found in what makes us uneasy, because it is new and unexpected. And let's hold these newly found truths lightly, not make them into a thing again that can be owned. Don't crush the butterfly of emergence. So here at IEC, we're in a unique situation, meeting with several hundred people who are interested in the same weird stuff as ourselves. Throughout the day, we can engage in this type of conversation with interesting people. And when I say conversation, words are not the most important part. It is the inner attitude, our body language, facial expression, what we see in each other's eyes when we truly listen. It is safe here to practice this and develop these important skills for our real-life challenges. Especially after the past years of social distancing, home office and homeschooling, maybe months and years of not touching another human being, of seeing a smile only on screens. So let's use this precious opportunity to be there for each other, to really allow ourselves to be touched physically, emotionally, intellectually, to feel safe and nourished, to feel useful and wanted. So that was the story of my baby, the section format and dialogue. But that takes us only up to lunchtime in the structure of this conference I promised to tell you about. So after the thematic sections in the morning, we have a 2-hour lunch break, maybe a chance to visit the spa or the lake, and coffee will be served at 3 before the afternoon workshops, which are a chance to dive deep, give the intellect a rest, and experience through body, soul, and spirit. We decided not to record these sessions. Sorry, our streaming people. Wish you were here. So we decided not to record these sessions so that you can feel safe to let go and maybe face aspects of yourself that you cannot reach by yourself. Again, you can choose between 10 different workshops. I know the fear of missing out really is triggered by this. But at least we have all have a chance to see the workshop leaders on the elevator pitch and catch up with them later. So after dinner, starting from tonight, we have up until, on all but the last evening, we have an open socializer. And it's not like in the program in this room, but it's in the lobby. So in this room, we're actually rebuilding the stage again. Yeah. So, and many presenters have brought a poster about that topic. So that's another way of making up your mind which thematic room to choose. We're still working on a place where you can put your posters up, but hopefully there will be a solution. Or otherwise you self-organize, find a way. So that's another way. People will stand next to their poster maybe, but they will have to hold it up. We don't have poster boards. And then you can engage in conversation about your topic, your workshop. And then each night, there are also some extra offerings, like the singles events, Martin Utschig, and the prayer and movie nights on Wednesday and Thursday. and ecstatic dance on Friday, with lots of space this time. On Saturday evening will be the culmination of the conference, with a collective turquoise experience with surprise. I'm already very curious, because it will be something new, while keeping the elements of a choice of vegetarian or meat goulash cooked over an open fire, and another huge fire to dance around, and live music. And on Sunday afternoon, the main conference will end, but some of us will stay for the gala dinner with open mic stage, or even join the tour. Thank you.